Jewelry made from Earth's most valuable resources, including gold, platinum, silver, diamonds, pearls, and colored gemstones, is a luxury commodity. But while jewelry is a non-essential product sold mainly in affluent markets, the industry that produces it plays a critically important role in a number of developing economies and societies. This is because most of the raw materials that are used to create jewelry are mined and processed in the developing world. The understanding in the jewelry industry of how its activities impact on the lives of ordinary people in developing countries is one that has evolved over the past decade. It has been a transformational journey. The voyage began at the very end of the 1990s, during a time of crisis and violence in parts of Africa. Civil war was raging in countries like Sierra Leone and Angola, and reports revealed that rebel groups were seeking control of diamond fields in those regions. Thus was born the concept of the conflict, or blood diamond. Their presence in the market undermined the foundation of the jewelry business. The leaders of the diamond and jewelry industries understood that they had to respond. They gathered at the World Diamond Congress in Antwerp, Belgium in July 2000 to coordinate the industry-wide effort against the influx of conflict diamonds. The World Diamond Council was established.
In the late 90s and the beginning of the year 2000, when the industry was put in front of a very heavy situation that was starting with conflict diamond issues, gathered all together to decide what kind of action has to be taken. And the Kimberley process was established, and the Kimberley process certification scheme was established.
The Kimberley Process Certification Scheme, introduced in 2003, involved the creation of a regulatory system which would ensure that only rough diamonds from approved sources could enter the legitimate chain of distribution. It was developed by governments working together with the World Diamond Council and civil society groups, and it was endorsed by the United Nations.
In the year 2000, the United Nations, through the Security Council and the General Assembly, actually sanctioned the establishment of the Kimberley process. The Kimberley process agreement had to be negotiated. It took about 3 years to put it all together. But we needed to get the endorsement and the sort of okay from both the Security Council and the General Assembly. And once we got that, our work was made much easier. And all governments, industry, NGOs felt that they can rally around that decision that was made by the UN.
Within several years, the incidence of conflict diamonds in the marketplace was estimated to have fallen from a high of about 4% to less than 0.2%. The ability of the Kimberley process to strangle off funding to rebel groups was one of the factors that led to the end of civil conflict in almost all of the affected regions.
Here, an industry is coming and asking governments put on us controls, and that was very surprising to many members of governments, and yet we as an industry felt that the only way we can be successful in eliminating the scourge of conflict diamonds is by having these controls on our industries. And we really lobbied many of the governments. It took us a long time to convince them to join the Kimberley process by enacting laws in each and every country in order to make this Kimberley process agreement a reality. And without the industry, it would have never happened.
Toward the end of 2004, CIBJO, the World Jewelry Confederation, initiated a process that would greatly expand the jewelry industry's perspective of corporate social responsibility. The organization, which brings under one roof national jewelry associations and commercial bodies from more than 40 countries, initiated a strategy by which the jewelry industry would serve as an engine for social and economic development.
CIBJO, the World Jewelry Confederation, started a process to be recognized into the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations in order to become much more active in the corporate social responsibility field. When we decided to go forward and take a different position on that in expanding the meaning of corporate social responsibility is not only because we want to be defensive, but especially because we want to be proactive in order to create much better conditions in those countries where we are operating.
In 2006, CIBJO received official consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations, and so became the only body in the international diamond, gemstone, and jewelry sectors to forge a formal alliance with the UN. In doing so, it committed the jewelry industry to the fulfillment of the United Nations 8 Millennium Development Goals. In March 2007, CIBJO held its first ever Congress on the African continent. The event underscored the role of the international jewelry industry in promoting responsible business practices and economic sustainability in countries where raw materials are produced. During the Congress, members of national jewelry associations from around the world issued the Cape Town Declaration, which noted the role of the jewelry industry in promoting social corporate responsibility.
The industry has done a lot to help developing countries, such as, for instance, the African countries. But I would like to give you the very last example, which has been done by CIBJO, signing an agreement, very important agreement, in South America, specifically in the Republic of Peru, for 12,000 artisans in how to bring them the major skills in order to let them produce.
In December 2008, CIBJO established the World Jewelry Confederation Education Foundation, or WJCEF. Its goal is to educate members of the diamond, gemstone, and jewelry industries about the principles of corporate social responsibility and sustainability, and how they may implement these principles in their businesses. The WJCEF program was designed together with the United Nations, which assigned a team of experts to work together with CIBJO. WJCEF conducted its first executive course in CSR for jewelry industry leaders in Antwerp in June 2010. It is the goal of the jewelry industry that CSR be embedded in its DNA. Corporate social responsibility should define the jewelry industry as a community and be a characteristic by which it is recognized. Consumers should believe that despite it being a luxury product, fine jewelry serves a higher humanitarian purpose.